Hey guys, so today we're going to be doing another foundation review. Just a warning, I feel like there's going to be a lot of foundation reviews coming up on this channel. I'm definitely going to be reviewing the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Foundation. I ordered two colors, 3N and 5N, and I also got the little corrector, but my package was lost. So I'm hoping that they recover it. If not, I'm just gonna have to order it again. Anyway, that should be coming soon, hopefully over the next week. And Sicily also came out with a reformulated version of their Phyto 10 foundation, which is their light, I think it's like their light oil-free foundation. Anyway, they reformulated it. Apparently it's improved and it's even a little bit less expensive, if I understand correctly. Anyway, that is definitely coming up, and I'm actually gonna be doing an exciting collab with that foundation. I think we're gonna be putting that up this Friday. But today we're gonna be talking about the Sulwhasoo Perfecting Cushion Intense. When I hauled this, I got a lot of requests to do a review on this, and the next day I right away kind of started playing with this foundation. I'm still want to do a full day wear test for you guys, but I've already worn this 2 days. One day it was a full day, and the other time it wasn't. It was only for about maybe 4 hours. But I do want to do a full day wear test of this foundation for you guys here live, so you can see the check-ins and my final thoughts. But I just want to share with you my thoughts when I wore it for one full day previously. And the reason why I wanted to kind of do this again was because I really didn't come up with a very kind of firm opinion of the foundation. I thought it went on very, very nicely. I thought the coverage was exactly like what they promised. It was like a medium full. But what happened was at about 5-6 hours, and I'll put some footage here because I kind of recorded myself with my iPhone. I was sitting in my car, I was in daylight, and I thought, oh, this would be a good opportunity just to see how this foundation is wearing. It was either the foundation was kind of breaking up and caking up a little bit, or I have found with foundations with a very high intense amount of SPF, what will happen is the SPF will kind of start to peek through, and that will start to look a little bit cakey itself and start to look a little bit powdery. And I started to notice it around my nostrils especially, and also along the hairline on my forehead, and it started to look a little bit less smooth on my skin. But I thought it applied really nicely, and I thought, it did wear well up until that point. So I thought I would give it another full day wear test and that I would do it with you guys. So inside the box, you'll find the cushion compact, very typical cushion compact. And then underneath, there's actually an extra cushion in there. And combined between the two cushions, you do end up with 1 fluid ounce, 30 mils. And I will leave a link to this product and any more information that I may forget to mention down below in the description box. Like the price, I always forget and I don't want to misspeak. So anyway, that'll be down below in the description box. So here is the cushion compact. And I should mention that I have color number 17, light beige. And again, like I mentioned, very typical cushion compact packaging. It has a mirror up here, and then this just flips out, and it does come with its own little sponge, which I don't like to use, but there is the cushion. So this product has an SPF of 50 plus, 1 plus, and the active ingredients are octinoxate, titanium dioxide, and zinc oxide. So there is a combination of chemical and physical sunscreen in here. And I've wet my Juno sponge, and I'm gonna go ahead and just dab right into the cushion here. And I'll apply to 1/2 of my face so we can get a good sense of the coverage and the finish. Oh, while I'm putting this on, I do want to mention that this morning I decided to exfoliate. I have not exfoliated in a little bit, and I thought maybe that had something to do with how the foundation was wearing. So I thought, let me go ahead and exfoliate, and if there is any difference in the wear, then maybe skin prep is a good idea with this guy, but we will find out as the day progresses. But I did want to mention that I have exfoliated, I have moisturized, and that's pretty much all I have on my skin. I didn't put down any primer or SPF because this has SPF in it, although you should always add a little bit of SPF. And the cushion has like a little bit of fragrance, but it's so mild. Yeah, it's so mild that I feel like I can only smell it when the sponge is approaching me, but once it's on, I don't smell it at all. All right, I just adjusted my exposure in case you see a little bit of lighting change, just FYI. So I have the foundation on this half of my face, obviously nothing on this side of my face. And I think the coverage is really nice. I say it's a rock solid medium coverage. I do think it's buildable, which I will do. I don't know if you can see this like hyperpigmentation that I have down here. It's kind of like red blotchiness. So just to demonstrate its buildability, is that a word? So just to show you guys that this is buildable, I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit more on top of this red blotchy area, and you'll see that it really kind of erases quite a bit of it. So that is 2 layers, and I feel like you really can't see the redness anymore. So I think with 2 layers of this foundation, you can get pretty close to a full coverage, which is really nice. I'm not someone that really enjoys a full coverage foundation, so the idea that I can just add a nice light layer and have like a medium coverage is really appealing to me. And for those of you who really enjoy like a full coverage, you just have to add another layer. It's very, very buildable. It looks really nice. I don't think it looks cakey or heavy at all. It looks very, very skin-like, and I think that's hard to do when it comes to full coverage foundation. If you guys saw my Kevin Aucoin foundation balm video, that is a full coverage foundation that I think just doesn't look that good on my skin. It just sort of sits on top and it just looks very, very cakey, where this foundation I think has full coverage but looks nice. It looks really, really nice on the skin. So I'm going to go ahead and apply it to the rest of my face. And while I'm doing that, I do just want to mention that I don't have any experience with the other Sulwhasoo cushions. I do know that they have, I believe, maybe 2 other cushion foundations, and this one is the one that has the most coverage. Apparently, I'm just telling you all this because I don't have experience with the other 2 or the other one, so I don't know if in fact this one has more. But like I just mentioned, I do think this has like a nice medium to full coverage. And I'm just gonna add a second layer here, just so we can even up both sides. All right, so there it is all over my face. One thing I want to mention is I don't find it oxidizing at all. I don't find that the color is changing at all. It's a very, very good match to my neck, as you guys can see. Oh, I didn't blend it on my nose very nicely there. Something I'm noticing that I didn't notice actually during my full day wear test is I don't think it's sitting nicely on my nose. It's actually like every time I touch it, I feel like I'm lifting pigment off. And I'm trying to kind of like press it in. It looks okay, but it does not look great on my nose. Everywhere else, I feel like it looks very, very decent. It looks nice on my forehead. It looks nice underneath my eyes. I have some larger pores here. I don't feel like those are being emphasized necessarily. I don't think they're blurring them. And my big old smile lines here look fine. So my only minor issue is how it's just wearing on my nose right here, and that just doesn't make me very confident for the rest of the day and how it's going to wear, but we'll just have to wait and see. So what I'm going to do is add a very light layer of powder to one side of my face. I'll do it onto the right side of my face, and then we'll go ahead and compare. So I'm just brushing some of my Kogen dough powder, and I'm using a BK Beauty brush number 102. So I think the addition of the powder actually kind of helps out the foundation, which is nice. I feel like the area around my nose that was looking a little kind of cakey, a little iffy, looks a little bit smoother. I think the powder just helped it set and kind of like stay put and kind of stop doing weird things. I forgot to mention that you can see how like radiant the finish of this foundation is without any powder. So this side is the side that I powdered, and you can see that there's still quite a bit of radiance that peeks through, but it's a little bit softer. This side I just look just straight out shiny. So I do think, and I have very, very dry skin, so I do think that you're definitely going to want to powder. So I'm just adding a really, really light layer of powder to this side. All right, so this is what we're starting with. Let's do a close-up. I'll just pan down from my forehead down to my chin. And like I mentioned, I think it's sitting nicely on my forehead skin, which can be problematic sometimes. I think it looks really nice around the eyes. I think it's doing a good job underneath my eyes. It's not emphasizing lines. And the tip of my nose, not perfect, but I do think the powder helped a lot. All right, so I've got a couple other videos to record today, and usually when I do foundation tests, I don't like to add too much makeup on, which is why I didn't put any concealer down, because again, I want to see how this foundation wears everywhere, kind of all by itself. But I do have to put makeup on for my other videos. So it is 7:30 in the morning right now. I'll be back probably to do like 11, 12-hour check-in and see how this wears. So I will see you guys later. Hey guys, I'm here to do my check-in. It's about 2:30 in the afternoon, so I've had this makeup on for about 7 hours, and whoa, excuse me. And I actually went out for a walk today. I wanted to walk my dog. It's very warm, but it's not as like brutally hot as it has been, so I thought she would really like a nice long walk. So we did that, and I definitely broke out into a sweat. I was like dripping down the sides of my face. And in that regard, I feel like this foundation has actually held up pretty nicely, but I did observe what happened when I first wore this and did like a full day kind of wear test. I'm noticing kind of the same thing, and what's happening is along my forehead and then around my nose, I don't feel like the foundation is necessarily breaking up. I feel like the SPF is kind of like showing through, or for some other reason, it's just starting to look a little like kind of powdery up here. Like it's just starting to look like there's like a white powder kind of residue. And in my experience, that's generally the SPF that's just kind of like hanging out on your skin, because the other parts of the foundation have either worn away or they've been absorbed by your skin, but that SPF is just kind of sitting on top. So I'm going to do a close-up of my forehead here, and I'm hoping you can see it. I'm just kind of backing away from my light a little bit, and it just right along here, it just looks a little almost like there's a little bit of like white powder sitting on top of the foundation, almost like it's separated. And then here's a close-up of my nose area, and I think you'll probably see that there too. But other than that, I feel like it looks really, really great just like on the rest of my face. I feel like it looks very nice around my mouth, along my cheeks, the lower half of my forehead, like around my eyebrows. I feel like that all looks really, really nice. And let me just tell you what I have on my cheeks. I have a little bit of powder bronzer underneath my cheekbones here. And on my cheeks, I have the brand new M Cosmetics Cream Serum Blushes, which a dedicated video is coming on. But that is all I have on my cheeks. I don't have any highlight or anything like that, or any additional powder. So that's it. So what you see basically is mainly my foundation and how that's wearing, and I think it looks really, really good on the cheek area. So that is it, just that little wearing away on the forehead and around the tip of my nose, but everything else looks really good and intact. So I'm going to go about the rest of my day, and I'm actually going out for dinner. So I'll do my check-in after that, which will probably make this more than a 12-hour wear test. So I will see you guys later. Well, hello. I look totally maniacal and insane. I was just about to wash my face, and I was like, wait a second, I'm doing a full day wear test. Whoa. So, yeah. It is about 13 hours later. It is about 8:15, 8:30 right now, and I put this on at 7:30 this morning. So this has been a long wear test for this, and I will say that the foundation is not looking good. It's not looking good at all. So it is completely breaking up around my nose. It is like completely separating, and I still think it's like the sunscreen and the foundation actually kind of doing their own thing, their own independent thing. Like the sunscreen is there, it's powdery looking, and then the foundation looks like it's just kind of like breaking away from it. It just doesn't look good. It's like all over my forehead. It's all over like my cheek area, nose, like my chin, and this area, like the bottom part of my face looks okay. It's like everything above it that looks bad. It is definitely my forehead, my nose, and like my upper cheek area that looks the absolute worst. There's my forehead. It's just not pretty at all. And then here's a close-up of like this part of my face. So I was hanging out with a friend of mine. I probably saw her starting at about 4 o'clock, and I used her bathroom, and at that point I kind of took a look in the mirror there, and it was not looking so good. So I want to say by the 9-hour mark, this was not looking great. When I did my first check-in, which was what, 7 hours in, I feel like it was starting to do this. Like the tip of my nose was starting to kind of like not look so great. My forehead, a little bit, but not nearly as bad as it is now. So I want to say from like the 7-hour mark, it just started deteriorating and just getting like worse and worse and worse and worse. So I want to say this foundation has a good 6 to 7 hour wear time. Just keep in mind, I have very dry skin, and I do feel like where this is breaking up, where it is acting funky, is the oilier parts of my face. So I do wonder if this would break down a little bit more quickly on someone with oilier skin. So normal to oily, maybe it would last like 5 to 6 hours, 4 to 5 hours, like around there. But I think if you have like dry skin like I do, 6-7 hours I think is kind of the max. And then it just doesn't look very good at all. So the plus side to this cushion foundation is that it definitely has very, very good coverage. For a cushion foundation, I find cushions generally have like a very kind of light medium coverage, which I happen to like. But if you're into something with more of a medium buildable to like medium full, almost a full, I think you'll really enjoy this. I think the SPF 50 count is definitely a plus. And I think if you don't need to wear it all day, you know, if maybe you're just putting it on, let's say to go out in the evening, or maybe you're just putting it on to, you know, meet some friends for brunch or something, I think this is great. But I don't know that I would actually recommend this for someone who needs something like all day long. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. Let me know if you have any questions down below in the comment section, and subscribe before you leave if you haven't already. I would love that. And I will see you in my next video.